Hello, I am Ram, and today we will be talking about peace. Oftentimes, people say all we need in the world is peace. And then you find that someone did something unforgivable, or you find that a whole country is acting in a way that forbids a state of peace. What I will be sharing with you today is a mantra and a Sanskrit word that is beyond the mental contemplation of peace. Rather, it is a physical experience of peace. And if you are aware of a global conflict, I invite you for this class to focus on your localized experience of consciousness. Meaning, I invite you to be authentic with your experience while at the same time being open and available to experiencing a state of peace within yourself. I will begin first with talking about what peace is. From the tradition of Mahajriya Buddhism, we learn from 5 spiritual masters. Buddha is one of them, and this is a concept from the Buddhist philosophy. We will be using the word Shanti. Shanti is Sanskrit, and it means a transformation of what is in the awareness, a transformation of your intellect, a transformation of what is currently going on. The sound sh, you can think of it as a flame in which the flame puts whatever is in the flame's path is transformed from something physical to something more pure, something of less density. Shanti. Now each sound means something different. Shanti. So when we chant it, it's important to be conscious of the sounds you are making. For purpose of efficiency of this video, I will only share the phrase that we will contemplate while we meditate on this state of peace. Allow me to share this wisdom with you through a guided meditation. It is important to be as humble to this information as you can. So, I don't know your length of knowledge about the ego, or about the soul experience, or about the divine experience. But regardless of wherever you are at in your journey, or in your curiosity of learning more, just know that what I will be saying will probably invoke a type of resistance. This means you may observe a discomfort in the physical body. You may observe it being easier to be distracted from this video, or that something in life comes up to which you will not hear the rest of the video. All of this is perfect and doesn't mean that you will never understand or never experience a state of peace. Rather, it's simply something to be aware of. So let us begin first by sitting in a comfortable position. I would always recommend a chair at first if you're not used to meditating on the floor. And I invite you to connect your thumb with your ring finger in a mudra in which we place the palms facing up, resting them gently on our laps. And the reason that I have the thumb connected with the ring finger for a few reasons. In some traditions, the ring finger represents the element of water. Water holds the virtue of humility. in which you find water in all these different types of forms. And it's simply the nature of water to be in all these different forms. We see it in rain. We see the water coming from the shower head. We see it also in the body of a lake. We see water so willing to go around a rock in a riverbed. So it's the nature of humility that we are trying to experience when we learn a new concept. Because it's hard to be conscious of something that the ego resists if we are not in the seat of humility. So with that being said, close your eyes and take a deep breath in from your abdomen. And do your best to maintain slow, deep breaths. No need to be loud about your inhale or exhale. It doesn't matter if you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. All that we are focusing on today is taking deep breaths at your own pace. The difference between a shallow breath and a deep breath is that your stomach is involved a bit more. And if you know about the diaphragm, you will feel a bit of an inflammation around not only the front of the body, but also the sides and a little bit of the back. The more that the body is engaged in these deep breaths, the better. And if your thoughts take you away from this meditation, away from your body, there is no need to criticize the mind or to feel as though you will never be able to do this. It is the mind's job to constantly keep you alive. And so the nature of the mind is to keep going. The way that we work with the mind is by asking it, inviting the thoughts to be focused on the breath. So we give it a job to do. We say, mind, observe how when I breathe in, my whole body responds. I breathe out, and something else happens. And it's paying attention to the breath and how the body responds to this movement. Breathe. And whenever the mind goes somewhere else, simply bring it back to the breath. And from here, I invite you to be present in the body. And we do this first by starting with paying attention to our feet. We breathe in, and we pay attention to the position of the feet, if they are comfortable, and if you need to adjust after paying attention to the feet, you're welcome to do so. But if not, simply observe the feet. Are the feet touching the ground? What is it like to have the ground meet the bottom of the feet? And at the same time, we are paying attention to the breath, and with each inhale, we move up the body, becoming more and more present in the body. Paying attention now to our entire legs, If we're sitting in chairs, what it's like to be seated in the chair, what our clothes feel like on our skin. Breathe, now paying attention to the lower abdomen, the chest cavity, the arms, the position of the hands and the fingers, and the entire body now from toes all the way up to the crown. Breathe, inhabit this body. You are present simply by wanting to be there. And if what is going on in your life now, wanting to be in your body, is not your experience, try your best to be present in this body, in this moment. Breathe. Inhabit. And next, bring your attention to the abdomen. Here is where we feel a lot of our emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. So whenever we feel anger, this energy that is moving inside of us sends discomfort to the nervous system, and then we label it as a bad emotion. Whenever we feel afraid, or abandoned, or rejected, guilty, these emotions send discomfort to the nervous system, and we label them as something that we do not want to experience. Breathe. Versus when we experience emotions of joy and love and freedom. When we experience these types of emotions, it sends a signal of comfort to the nervous system, in which we try to have those experiences more and more. What we're doing right now, we first breathe, we inhabit, and now we ask ourselves, what do I feel right now? And we feel it. So there might be a pressure somewhere, maybe even in the chest, where when I say, how do you feel right now? You feel this pain, or just a presence in the chest. Really allow that emotion, even if you don't know what it is, to be felt. Allow it to take over just for a moment. You breathe, present in the body, feel. Maybe you feel hopeless, or like you don't know what to do. Maybe you feel like an outcast, or maybe you feel guilty for saying something to someone and you saw that it brought them suffering. Whatever your experience at this moment is, honor it and be uncomfortable with yourself. Feel what you feel, Perhaps you're feeling peace, and that's fine, but feel it. Really let the emotion be felt. And from here, we observe the emotion. You might have done this already. Naturally, we observe the emotion as though we are so curious as to what this type of movement looks like, what this type of movement feels like, how this emotion expresses itself in the body. Breathe. Inhabit. Feel and observe. As we observe, slowly, we enter a state of acceptance. This is how I feel. This is the emotion that is within me right now. And I will observe this emotion. I am not only this story or this experience, but I will pay attention to it and be available to what this feeling feels like. We're not trying to solve any problems. We're not trying to save ourselves from experiencing something. We're not trying to fix anything. What we are doing now is we are feeling our reality in a contained, safe vessel that is our physical body. Very good. And from here, I invite you to pay attention to your crown chakra, which is the top of the head. And it is from this place where I will be sharing with you an experience of peace. Breathe. I invite you to take your awareness not only in this body, but now to the rest of the bodies on the street you are at right now. Breathe and expand your awareness to the town you are in right now, or the city. Now go even further and expand your awareness to the country. And even further to the whole of the universe. Breathe, conscious of the breath, of the body, and at the same time paying attention, using your imagination, expanding the awareness to all of the universe. The more that we stretch and expand our awareness, the more we are living an experience of global consciousness, higher perspective, looking at things from a divine world view. And it is from this higher perspective in which we go beyond the mind of the human. We go beyond the experience of the ego. We go beyond, higher than the experience of the human. Shanti. Shanti. There is no conflict. Breathe. You see, when we experience conflict, there are a lot of different things that the ego is trying to prevent us from feeling. We are defensive if we are about to feel rejected. We are aggressive if we feel that our pride was hurt. We are ashamed if we feel exposed or vulnerable. But from this place, I invite you to be as available as you can at whatever level you are at. Breathe, inhabit, feel, observe, and at the same time, conscious of all experiences of the universe. Plants, animals, people. Breathe. The concept of conflict involves also feelings of being disrespected, feelings of needing respect, feelings of worthiness and unworthiness. So when we say there is no conflict, immediately our ego responds and says, yeah, but she said this and it hurt me. I'm in conflict. Shanti. We transform the perspective from the localized ego to the global perspective of God. Shanti. Slowly repeat silently in your mind, Shanti. There is no conflict. Another advantage to using a new word like Shanti is that it puts the mind in a state of discovery, a state of curiosity. And that is also the state I invite you to be in this moment. Curious. How does my human respond when I hear the words, there is no conflict? Breathe. Shanti. Peace. Take a deep breath, and I invite you now to take yourself back to the time where you got angry. Ask yourself, did I choose this? The answer is no. Because there are impulsive works of nature inside of us. Our ego is strong, and we are of nature and divine. So when I say, the last time you got angry, did you choose it? I'm talking about the impulsive response to defend, the natural tendency to be angry. Breathe. And from here, if you did not choose it, is it your fault? The answer is no. The last time you were angry or offended, your first response was not in your control. And so breathing and feeling this taps into a lot of the human's experience of pride. Feeling out of control is humiliating. And so we do our best to breathe, to feel, and to observe our responses to this concept. Breathe. Shanti. There is no conflict because there is no offense. Beyond the human's experience, there is just experience. Meaning there is no good or bad. It is an opportunity to learn more about being human. So when we observe our emotions, it is similar to how the soul, the how divine, both observe the human when we experience conflict, when we experience offense, when we experience love. The soul and divine take a neutral gaze of these experiences to the point there is no concept of good or bad, right, wrong. Breathe. Rather, there's a sense of curiosity, of discovery. Shanti. Shanti. I invite you now to bring your hands in prayer position in which both hands are facing each other, connected at the level of the heart. This represents a union of soul and human. And we will chant the peace mantra, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We say Om and Shanti 3 times after to recognize no conflict in all of the human. No conflict first in the mind, then in the emotions, and then in the vital and physical plane of the body. When you chant this, you might notice a tendency for everything that resists peace to rise in your consciousness. And this is okay. Breathe and chant with me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. Breathe and feel. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax the hands. Breathe, present and observing. At whatever level you are able to experience this concept, it is perfect, and I thank you for your time and your willingness to experience something like this. I invite you now to wiggle your toes, to take a deep breath, and to very gently come back and open your eyes.